Powered by Riverside FM.
It is the A Train Sports Talk podcast, also streaming live on twitch.tv. Riverside FM is the main provider, and I'm going to have some issues with them. Somebody's going to have to explain something to me, but we're going to make things work. Also streaming on YouTube. Today, y'all know I always say city to city, state to state, coast to coast. I picked up people from as far as New Mexico to right here locally. And now we're going to a place where they actually penned a song. I'm going to Kansas City. Here I come. That's right. Kansas City, where my next guest is from. He is an AAU basketball coach, probably most likely a trainer, could be a high school coach. Hey, all this stuff I'm getting is straight organic. I didn't ask for no information. I'm just going straight off the top. So whatever happens, happens. I'm not responsible for all the good things that's going to happen. My next guest, and I put respect on this name, first is Coach. There's a story behind that because I learned that lesson in the 7th grade, and I never called that coach by his first name ever again. I learned my lesson. So to this day, he's way older than me, and I'm much older than what I was. But if your name is Coach, I'm going to put some respect on that name. His name is Coach Cole Silsby out of Kansas City, Missouri. Coach, welcome into the show. And like I said, we're having to use different means and methods to get this recording done, but we're going to make things happen. Welcome to the show. I want to say, first of all, I appreciate you because a little backdrop on this new relationship that's being formed. He said he heard a couple of my podcasts. He said he liked the content. How we became friends, I still call it Twitter. I'm just old school. Some things just won't change. I guess I sent him a request because he was following someone that I followed, and next thing I know, he followed me, and he's like, "I've heard your show. I want to be on your show." I'm like, I can't say the hair on my head stood up because that's a good laughing moment right there. But I am glad to have you on, Coach. Like I said, we're using monitors to try to hear you, and by all means, tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into coaching? And I want to know everything, the difference between coaching AAU teams, the difference in coaching a regular high school team. But tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into coaching. Hello? And look like we're really having some technical difficulties here because it looks like everything is just froze up. Oh, there we go.
Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, yeah. Tell us what started you. Well, what started you first before you even got to coaching? What got you into the game of basketball?
Yeah, Anthony, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So first off, man, I just appreciate you having me on. Like I said to you over Twitter, that I just love your content, like what you're doing. Just talking any basketball podcast in general, I just love. But so really, just to start, played 4 years of college basketball. Actually started at Bethel College and then went to Allen County Community College and then finished up at Baker. Great experiences at all three and whatnot. So right after I got done with my college playing career, I'm like, I always knew, even from the time I was like, whatever, elementary, middle school, that I wanted to coach and whatnot, but I didn't know the specific route I wanted to take. And still kind of don't exactly, because there's just so many options out there. But so pretty much, yeah, I got to that point and graduated college, and I'm like, man, what do I want to do? And so, and I knew I wanted to coach football and basketball and obviously start up an AAU program. So it would have been in March of 2020. My little brother, he would have been like a sophomore in high school. And it was kind of a two birds, one stone deal. Like I knew I wanted to coach him, but also start my AAU program and whatnot. And he's a Salina South kid. So that's pretty much how my Kings program got started up. And right from the jump, I've always had this vision of, like, I just remember being a high school kid, you know, transitioning to play college basketball. And it's like, whether you're really misled or have the best information ever, whether from your parents or coaches, like what college basketball is going to be like versus compared to how it is at the high school level. I just feel like it's so tough to get that little insight and the firsthand kind of information of like, hey, this might fly at the high school level, but it's not going to in college, right? And so pretty much I put together what I called an 18U team, where it's like, for example, this year, class of 2025 kids that are either already committed to play college basketball or trying to get offers to find a place to play. And I also help with that part. But yeah, just kind of mix and match in. Like, for example, this year, my team, I think all 9 guys, 8 of the 9 are already committed. And we're going to be playing in a couple tournaments here in June and whatnot. One that we'll be hosting. I think I sent you the flyer of that, actually. But yeah, so pretty much that was kind of the vision I had, and to be able to help these kids, just give them a step up as far as like, man, this is what it takes to be a college basketball player. This is what you got to go through. And there's a lot of like, here's what to do, but also a whole lot of what not to do. You know what I mean? And I feel like that really helps guys just whatever, make it an easier transition to the college level. Because, you know, in high school, you have not every team, but most teams have 1, 2, maybe 3 guys that can really go if you're lucky. But it's totally different when you play with 8, 9 other dudes, like exactly like it'll be at the college level, that can all play, right? If you turn it over in high school and you're the best player, if you turn it over 3 straight times, your coach probably isn't taking you out, right? At the college level, you turn it over once, maybe twice. Well, there's a guy right behind you that's just as good and maybe even better that the coach is going to put in. You know what I mean? So just the little insights like that. And I coach my players like they are college level players when I get them. And it's just been a great experience, man, putting a bunch of guys together. I have kids from all over the state of Kansas and Missouri. I've had a couple Oklahoma kids, a couple Colorado. I think my roster this year is only Kansas and Missouri kids, but I purposely put together this group of kids that more often than not every single one of them, but like a lot of them have never even met the other kid before, right? And it teaches them how, like, okay, how to be basketball players. So when you get together, to be able to just kind of quickly mesh with other guys that you might not have chemistry with, right? But that's kind of what it is at the college level. Compared to high school, it's kids you've known your whole life and played together with, you know, numerous times, games, summers, all that. And, you know, you get to college and it's a bunch of guys that you don't necessarily know, right? From all different backgrounds and whatnot. So, yeah.
So you're able to get players from all over. You said Oklahoma, Colorado, I do believe you said. And
Yeah.
That does not surprise me in the least, because I had a young lady on from New Mexico that's with MoCan. And I'm like, how do they get these players from all across?
Yeah.
But before we get there, let me backtrack, because you mentioned you played at Bethel College. Now, I know that's right here in Kansas. You also played at Cowley County, which is in Ark City, Kansas.
Allen County.
Oh, well, you played some JUCO ball.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How did you land in Bethel? What was that experience like? Because I have contacted some people at Bethel, and they've been some great people as well too. So, what was your experience like at Bethel College?
You know, man. So pretty much, I would say out of high school, I had more offers for football than basketball, but wanted to go the basketball route. And pretty much the year the year prior to me was Coach Tony Hoops. First year as the head coach there. And the year prior to that, they were winless, right? And he took over the program, and Coach Jason Artez, the now head coach, he was Coach Hoop's assistant at the time. And those two, Coach Meyer, also he's not there anymore, but I was just so sold on the vision that they had for where Bethel basketball was going, and have they fulfilled that vision and then some. The They play so hard. I can't say enough good things about Coach Artez and Bethel. Had a great experience there overall, and whatnot. Played with some guys that were just such high quality, high character kids, and that's what Coach Artez recruits. Jack Derby kid. I listened to, that was one of the podcasts that I listened to. I'm going to try to get him on my 18U team. He's a stud, but yeah, I don't know. I just love everything that Coach Artez does. He's a player's coach. He cares. He coaches them hard, but every single one of his guys knows that he would run through a brick wall for them. It's no secret why they're for the past, whatever, 3, 4, 5 years, are just so consistently good. And my personal opinion, just building something special there at Bethel. So yeah, great place, man.
So, I'm gonna definitely reach back out to Coach A at Bethel College, and I'm
Coach
pretty
who?
sure I'm gonna make sure I send him a link to this podcast so he
Coach
can hear
Artez?
the high praise that you gave him, because I'm pretty sure he will most definitely appreciate that. And I heard you mention Jack down there at Derby. I had a chance to see that team play the past 2 years, and I mean, knowing that you heard that, we don't have to rehash too much of it, but I said this: any coach at the next level that get Jack Welling is getting not just a basketball player, but they are getting a complete package as a person with all that he's went through. I mean, let's just face it, that young man is a walking miracle. So before we even think to complain, just think about what he had to overcome. So now, back to my other question. How is it that you can manage to get a collection of players, not just from Kansas, but from as nearby as Oklahoma and as far away as a different time zone, Colorado? How does that work? Because I know with the AAU circuit, I know you're allowed to recruit the players, build a team, some things that you can do at AAU that you can't do in high school. Not saying that that isn't being done in high school, but knowing your background, just from talking on the podcast, I know you're not going to do any win at all costs at the level. So, what is it that you can do in the AAU? How you can attract these players? What is it that draws these players to you, the coach, and you, the person?
Man, what I guess I would say, like, one thing, like, why I feel like I'm able to get these players is due to my former players. You know what they say, like marketing or whatever. The best tactic there is word of mouth, right? People vouching for you and whatnot. And um, I like to think I'm a good recruiter and can kind of sell what I have to offer to my guys. But even then, the best recruiters are the players before, right? That have played for me before, that know the experience, and um, just vouch for me on what I have to offer these kids as far as just insight to the next level. And um, it goes way deeper than just, hey, let's help these guys get ready for college basketball. Obviously, just the relationships and whatnot that I built, just any opportunity to help the kids on and off the court and um, whatnot is really just why I do it. So yeah, I guess I would say, starting out, for example, like I was lucky enough to get Jackie Johnson. He's a Wichita Southeast kid, to come play for me a little bit. That was my little brother, Deb Younghand's best friend. And then, was lucky enough to have like Zeke Mayo, Austin Mason, just some guys that are obviously have a stellar basketball resume, but are just even better dudes. And, they would bring guys along with them, and they all just bought in. And then from there, it kind of just word of mouth spread like, hey, this is a good opportunity and worth doing. So, yeah.
So basically, like you say, word of mouth, past and former players, uh, like you say, marketing. It's all about and the way you present yourself. So that's the key right there, how you present yourself. And like I say, just talking to you just these few minutes, we've been talking about 16 minutes or so. In 3 of those minutes, I probably did an introduction. But from a standpoint of, presentation, your background, and some of the people I've known, well, like we've lost Coach Silsby. Hopefully we can get him back. But all right, now we got him typed. All right, Coach, we got you back. I see you. I see you. I, that's a rare occasion right there, but we got you back. That's the main thing is we got you back.
Right.
But as I was saying, it's all about presentation, how you present yourself, some of the trails that you've come across, and some of the people that have imparted in your life. And that's the one thing I like about you because you're not ashamed to let people know where you came from, who's influenced your life. Uh, in the game of basketball, though, because I'm 57 years old, I've seen the transition where you had your traditional point guard, your shooting guard, your power forward, your small forward, your center. Basically, you had what was called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Now you have some people want to refer to them as the old get off my lawn type of guys versus the young guys. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has said it like this. He said, bigs are not being taught the game well. He said, everybody wants to shoot from the stratosphere. Everybody wants to be Steph Curry. You got 7-footers out there shooting 3-pointers. And I get where Kareem is coming from because I grew up watching Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, who I think is one of the best big men, got that turnaround, that jab step. I mean, he just has some moves that are big man, I would say even in today's game, doesn't have. No, would he kill you with the 3-point shot? No, but his moves down low. So what is your whole take on the transition and the evolution of basketball? Let's say if you had some 7-footers at your disposal, would you prefer them to have the all-around game or to shoot from the outside, or would you like to see them dominate, say like a Hakeem Olajuwon or Shaquille O'Neal?
Anthony, I think context really matters because it's like would I rather have what they call kind of Euro bigs, 7-footers, kind of lanky that really won't get in the post and bang versus, someone that will play with their back to the basket. It's kind of more of a presence down there, more of a force and stuff. And it's like, I don't have a preference necessarily, but I think the problem now and kind of the rabbit hole we're going down is like, why does everyone want to be a guard when not everyone is a guard, right? Like some people are meant to be bigs and think they want to play like a guard and they're just not. So a lot of people are not realistic enough with their skill set. Like, you see AAU ball, and I listen to Coach Murdoch from Kansas Wesleyan, and he's a great dude. And I just loved his take when you asked him, "Oh, do you go watch AAU tournaments?" Right? And he was pretty much like, it's kind of tough too. He might send an assistant, but he was really speaking on how poorly, in his opinion and mine as well, how poorly the game of basketball is watching AAU basketball. Not all AAU programs play bad, but how he was saying it's just so selfish. It's somebody trying to play 1-on-5. It's playing no defense. It's just bad and it's sloppy. And I think it just starts from there. Like, I don't know, Steph Curry, when people saw him come across half court and it's going up to where it's like, oh, that's what I want to do now. Is I want to shoot threes, where people don't know why Steph Curry can do that, and is able to do that at an efficient percentage, to where it's, I don't know, just a lot of kids are very misled as far as their overall skill set and just in general. But yeah, the NBA now, you hear the stereotypical, like, oh, all they do is shoot threes. They don't play no defense and stuff. And I could see how from like a regular fan perspective that it kind of looks that way. But yeah, how you're saying the game has just changed so much from, it kind of just being standard inside out and whatnot to now where it's like, spread the floor, 5 guys on the perimeter, pass and cut versus, really just looking inside and kind of playing inside out that way. I don't know. Every coach or player has their preference of like what style they like to play, but I feel like a lot of the format of AAU, not so much high school ball, but it is just such run and gun, and less kids know how to be basketball players, move without the ball, right? How to set screens, when to cut, just simple things like that. I feel like the game in general is lacking really bad right now.
And I heard you mention Coach Murdoch because another guest I had on. So you're mentioning all my good guests, and you're in that line of good guests that I'm having on. And I love the talkativeness. I love the insight that I'm getting from you. But you mentioned how AAU ball is being played, and me having to have get back into the high school gyms and watch these games. I always give these two people credit for getting me back into the high school game. One is Coach Joe Jackson at May South. I'm pretty sure you probably recruited some of his players.
I just messaged him
Then
today.
the other coach was Coach Brian Chadwick, who wanted me to come watch his girls team play.
Yeah.
And maybe you can attest to this as well, and maybe you've seen both sides of it, and who knows, maybe you thought about coaching the girls game. But the one thing I noticed in the girls game versus the boys game, in the boys game, there seems to be a lot of isolation ball, a lot of one-on-one dribble drive. So therefore, when you see it at the AAU level, you're not surprised, except it's more full blown. Whereas when I've seen the girls game, like I said, it started with Derby, and then from then I've seen other girls game. Seem like they play more together as a collective unit. I'll throw some names out at you. They'll probably hear this too. You take a Maddie Vickery at Washburn Rural. Everybody knows she's a star player, but they have a cast of players around her. Derby has Michaela Askew, but they have some freshmen that would be assassins from three-point line, to where even though this is their star player, they're not reliant on that one player to carry them. They can kill you in so many ways. Whereas with some of the guys' team, if you take out their star player, it would appear that that team is going to only go as far as that particular player. So what's your assessment of that? And I'm going to listen.
Yeah, man, I think you're spot on with kind of your perspective as far as how you see the boys game in general versus the girls. I've thought for the past couple of years now that, like, I would like to. I've coached 4 years of school ball, high school ball on the boys' side, and I always thought, I would like to do the girls' side just from what I've watched and just talking to high school girls coaches and whatnot. They're more coachable in general, less egos, more willing to buy in, and which in turn translates into passing the basketball, being less selfish and stuff, which I think makes the game fun to watch. But yeah, I completely agree with your take as far as it's tougher to get 5 guys to buy into, just your team philosophy, being unselfish, giving the ball up, versus the girls. It seems to be easier to get that buy-in and whatnot.
So I don't want to stir the pot,
Go for it.
but it seems like I may have pulled something out of you that has piqued your curiosity into, oh, go ahead, into coaching the girls' game. So could we don't want to put the cart before the horse, but just to think about this. I don't want you to say nothing to incriminate yourself, but is that something you might think about down the road doing?
Yes, man. It's been something
I
I've
mean,
thought about doing.
because there has been a shift. Uh, there has been a shift. Seem like you see more men coaching on the girls' side now more than ever. I don't know if you want to say Gino Oriema could be the reason for that shift. Um, Back in my days, Wichita State had a man coaching the women's team. Uh, his Daryl Smith, to be exact. We always called him the man in black because every game you seen him, he was in black slacks, black shirt, black suit. Which brings me to another question. And maybe you could tell me about the fashion statements that the coaches are making, which is pretty much the warm ups. Now, there are some coaches that are going back to what I would call the professional look. I just think coaches look good on the sideline in suits. I mean, the sweat outfit that looks good for an interview. But what's your whole take on? Hey, don't get me wrong. If you're doing the sweat look, that's fine. That's works for you. But I'm old school, and I'm just used to. I mean, even when I used to see Greg Marshall on the sideline in a nice suit and tie, I'm like, man, we got the best dressed coach. And they say coaching is a profession, so look like a professional. That's just me. I mean, I look forward to saying, okay, what's the coach gonna have on a fashion show? I mean, we don't get that no more. And they blame it on COVID. Well, COVID is over. I want to see the coaches in suits. So, what's your whole take on that?
So first off, Anthony, if you want to see a man in a suit every single night, I'm talking full blown red suit, blue, you name it, go to a Santa Fe Trail High School game. Shout out to my guy, Coach Decker. But he religiously he wears a suit. But to answer your question, me personally being a younger guy, like I dig the more relaxed fit and kind of that style, if you will. But I do think, okay, for a head coach, I do like the idea of a kind of a suit, you know, just well dressed, like you were saying, how you looked at Greg Marshall and were like, man, that's our guy. He's looking right. But also at the same time, like maybe go that route for head coaches, but I could see with the assistants, because you never want to outdress your head coach, obviously. But yeah, me personally, man, I dig the whole, kind of coach's style now, whether the polos or the 3/4 zips, and whatnot versus a full blown suit. That's me personally.
All right. I mean I get that. I get that. Like I say, I'm not knocking anybody. It's just that was just what I was so used to. And then when COVID came, it just changed everything. Which when you did see a coach in a suit, like I was checking out the NCAA tournament, probably right around that COVID era, and they was in suit. I'm like, oh, okay, there are a few. And then you look at Coach Cal, he done went back to the suit look. So just some things just I guess you could say I'm nostalgia or my age 57 is kicking in. Now, what I do want to say is I appreciate you being on the show today for this particular reason. This is when I say my last show, it's not my last show ever, but tomorrow I get this pacemaker implanted in here. So, I'm going to be down for a little bit. And the fact that I have you as my last guest before that takes place makes me more appreciative and more humble to have another great guest on my show, because today's show, when we get through, I'm going to do a recap on some things that happen in high school sports, whether it be on the track and field, whether it be softball, whether it be look back at some of the champions. But, you know, like I say, I am humble and blessed to have such great guests. So I do this for my guests right here. I have to say thank you, because my dad taught me this, rest in heaven. He said, people when they are nice, they don't have to be nice to you. So when they are nice to you, the least you can do is show some gratitude. So I want you to give some encouraging words or some words of wisdom to those who want to do what you are doing, who wants to break into the coaching rank. I think even at 57, there might be some coaching in me too. I don't know. I might want to step into coaching. What would you tell someone young that's looking up to you, or someone old like me that's thinking about how can I break into this profession? What would you tell them? What procedures and steps to take?
Yeah, Anthony, the best thing within the coaching profession, it's way more about who you know than what you know. Not that you don't have to be a good coach or have to continue to learn, but the biggest thing is making a connection with somebody that has connections, and then it just kind of sprouts out from there. But I would just encourage anyone. Like, I always have my former Kings players come and whether help coach my guys at the tournament or come to practice and have them play with them and whatnot, just to kind of give them that first step as far as like, hey, I feel like I want to coach, but I'm not sure if I do. Give them that opportunity to figure out if it's for them or not. But mostly just encourage them to do it for the right reasons, and whether you're lucky enough to coach and make a lot of money in the basketball profession, or you do it for free. It has to be about the kids first and foremost. And um, you know, I believe firmly that if you do it that way, it will pay you in full, um, just by being good to people and helping these kids out with no agenda, which very few people seem to go that route nowadays, just wanting to help, with nothing in return. But yeah, that would be the biggest thing for me, man. Just do it because you love it and without an agenda. And if you do have an agenda, make sure it's only just to help these kids, in the game of basketball and way beyond that, just life in general.
I appreciate that, because I have some grandsons. My oldest one, he'll probably be over here with me the rest of this week, trying to help me, because like I said, I got this surgery coming up tomorrow, and I'm gonna be in a sling for the next 7 days. So, you know, my grandson, I had a chance to even take him out to May South when they was having a big festival right before football season. He's left-handed, got a strong arm, and the guys on the varsity team like, does he play football for somebody? I said he played 1 year, and I guess his mom couldn't afford it. But you know, I know there's some sport he want to play, and like I said, I got 5 grandchildren. One's a girl, the rest are all boys. So maybe I could start there. But hey, this is a laughing moment. My ultimate job, if I ever got into coaching, would be at a Power Five school or at the NBA level. That way they can fire me and I can still get paid $30 million to go. I mean, that seems like the ultimate job profession is to get a job and get fired and they still owe you $30 million. I mean, that's better than getting fired on a regular job and have to draw unemployment. I mean, a 30 million unemployment, yeah, that means you've done something right to get ousted. But no, like you said, it should be about the kids and you know whatever route my grandsons decide to take, and if I could play a part in it, if that's what gets, because I believe had my grandson kept playing football, I probably would have end up getting into coaching at that level because I had a good vibe with the coach that he was coaching that was coaching him. So, but coach, I want to say thank you once again for being on the show. Uh, if your team ever plays in Wichita, please by all means hit me up. You got my feed here. Also, you see this shirt right here that I have on?
Barely.
Actually, it's the logo.
Tron.
I'm gonna make sure I get you one of these once I get on the mend. I'm gonna get you one of these shirts because I want to make sure that my guests get one of the A Train Sports Talk podcast shirts. That way they can say I took the ride and got the shirt. So that's how that's gonna work out. So once I mend and get back in touch with my shirt person, you will definitely have one of these shirts for being a guest on the show. You can tell everybody, I took the ride, I got the shirt. So all I need to do is just let me know what your size is. I'll make sure I get it for you and where I need to send it to. And like I said, if you guys ever in Wichita, let me know because I know they have a lot of games at the Wichita Sports Forum. So look forward to meet you in person. Look forward to seeing your team play. So enjoy the rest of your day. We got some more to get into. Once again, my guest, Coach Cole Silsby. Thank you for being on the show.
Appreciate you, man. Hey, Anthony, I really just appreciate you having me on and letting me join you on your show. Also, I got a new Kings shirt. I just got a bunch of new Kings gear in, so I'll be sure to send something your way. But yeah, man, what you're doing is awesome. And again, just appreciate you taking the time, and we'll definitely be in contact soon. And hey, and prayers to you on your surgery, man. Hope everything goes smooth and you're right back to it.
Appreciate the prayers, Coach. Appreciate the prayers. Appreciate you being on. So I look forward to that King shirt. That shirt did look nice too, man. I love it, man. I can't wait to get one of those. So all right. We're gonna let you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm gonna take a look back at some things that happened in Kansas sports. Coach, if you want to stay on here the rest of this show, you can. All right, you good? Cool.
Appreciate you, Coach. Appreciate you, man.
So, but yeah, there were some things that happened in sports world in Kansas. Last week, some of you saw that I had well, you didn't see, but you heard that I had Alan Hanna on, possible future Olympian, and you talk about a humble young man, a great athlete. Well, with that being said, I want to take a look back on some things that happened in Kansas high school sports. As we make that transition, also want to let you know that this show is
Powered by Riverside FM.
that's right, powered by Riverside.fm. But yes, a lot took place as the school year ended, as the sports calendar year ended. And there are some things I just want to look at and give some people their props. We're going to start, first of all, with this right here. As Mays' Alan Hanna celebrates his clearance of 7'2" at the state outdoor track and field championships. Oh my, Mays' Hanna puts on unrivaled show in taking 6A high jump record to new heights. If ever there was a time for the buzz in Cessna Stadium to reach an absolute electric pitch late Friday evening, was it. With action on the opening day at the State Outdoor Track and Field Championship winding down, it in all reality was just heating up. No fewer than 5 athletes were going after their second state title in their respective event, were competing inside the stadium while the most competitive javelin competition of the weekend was going on just outside. But for all the star power on display, taking center stage was Alan Hanna. And boy, the Mays senior delivered a show for the ages. He says, I had to go out with a bang, Hanna said. That he did. Not only did Hanna not disappoint himself or the crowd by clearing that mark, he took things to a height never before seen at the state meet. Clearing 7 feet was his career best. 7'2" with ease. Hanna turned his final state meet into a historic one, taking down the Class 6A and overall state meet record with a winning jump of 7 feet 3.5 inches. The previous 6A and state meet best had been a leap of 7.3.25 by Garden City's Jason Archibald in 1995. Think about that, 1995, and here it is, 2025. What's that? 30? About 30 years, at least. It's crazy, man, Hanna said. I had it in my head that I was going to go high. Now that it's all over and I get to soak it all in, it's amazing. Definitely nice. A year ago, Hanna was one of 2 jumpers in the state, along with El Saline's Brogan Rowley, that cleared 7 feet during the regular season. But as soon as he got that hollowed mark, Hanna wanted more. It felt amazing for about 5 seconds, he said. But then the sky's the limit from there. I had to get higher than that. Hanna never took his mark a year ago higher than 7 feet, and when he fell short of hitting it at the state meet, it put a somewhat bittersweet feel to his first state title, winning the 6A crown with a clearance of 6 feet 10. Last year, I was pretty mad at myself, he said. I still won, but I wanted 7 feet. Even with Hanna, the lone jumper in the state this year with a clearance of 7 foot or higher, hitting that height at state this year almost seemed like a must with the competition in Class 6A at a high level. Olathe South Jamari Clifton went into the state title just outside the hollowed 7-foot club with a season best of 6 feet 11.25. Olathe North Cole Smither also was right on the cusp with a best of 6'11", and actually had the best regional mark with a 6'10" to Hanna's 6'8". Their presence meant an off day in the slightest could result in an unsuccessful title defense, but it was a challenge Hanna was looking forward to and really met. We all have a group chat and are always talking to each other, Hanna said of his Sunflower League counterparts. We talked about getting better and that we had to have a boom come out for this state meet. Smither, Clifton, and Olathe East Cade Aldholm proved to be a solid warm-up act for Hannah's headliner show. Alholm didn't miss until dropping out at 6'8", while Clifton and Smither each got over that height, with Clifton clearing his first attempt after needing 3 attempts to get over at 6'6". And when Hannah had passed until 6'6", missed his first attempt at 6'8", a bit of drama entered the competition. A bit of drama entered the competition. It didn't last long. Hannah sailed over 6'10" on his first attempt, while Clifton and Smither each bowed out at that height, finishing second and third, respectively. With the stage to himself, Hannah became the main attraction at Cessna Stadium. Opting not to take the bar immediately to a meet record height, Hannah instead chose to go right to the height that proved to be his sticking point last year. Last year's shortcomings were a distant memory, as Hannah made it look like an opening height with the ease in which he cleared the bar on his first attempt. If that wasn't impressive enough, Hannah followed it up by making 7'2" look just as easy with another first attempt clearance. Ever since I started coming to state, I've tried to get everything on my first jump, Hannah said. All the misses count against you, but getting 7 and 7'2" on the first attempt, it was crazy. The madness was just beginning, as Hannah then took the bar to 7'3.5" to try to break Archibald's 30-year-old record. As has become tradition at the state meet, when a high jumper or pole vaulter takes the bar to a record-setting level, longtime meet announcer Don Stephens encourages the crowd, help them along with a collective slow clap that increases in tempo as the jumper makes his approach. But Hannah was having none of that, motioning to the crowd to essentially sit on their hands and let him go it alone. With all due respect to the fans, the only rhythm he desired as he went after his historic marks was his own. I go by rhythm whenever I do my run-up, he said. So the claps kind of messed that up a little bit. The crowd doesn't have that same rhythm, so my timing can get off. I get stuttery, and I start thinking about when I need to go, and it messes me up. So I like it quiet. With only a handful of events still being contested during Hannah's leap into history, Cessna Stadium became a rather tranquil environment with the crowd on hand, heeding Hannah's request and creating a silent setting, which made the boisterous roars from the crowd even more explosive and resonating as Hannah cleared height after height. It got loud, Hannah said. He missed his first attempt at 7'3.5", but came right back and once again got over the bar with relative ease to put the highest jump ever at the state meet. Only one Kansas jumper had ever gone higher at any point in their career, Wichita East Brad Spear, who cleared 7'4.5" in 1984. With that mark in mind, Hannah took the bar to 7'5". In near dead silence, Hannah hit his rhythmic run-up, soared and arched his back over the bar, but he narrowly clipped the bar, as minimal as it could seemingly get, and it dropped to the mat. It was there, but my back just barely hit it, Hannah said. His second attempt at 7'5" wasn't nearly as close. Instead of staying at 7'5" for his third attempt, Hannah moved the bar up to 7'5.5" to try and take over the national lead from Nika Wilkinson of Bayside, Florida, who cleared 7'5.25" on March 1st this spring. He didn't get that clearance either, but it hardly spoiled the show, which Hannah punched with a backflip on the mat to the cheers of his family, who had stationed themselves just outside the track, south of the high jump area. I thought it was there, Hannah said of 7'5 point. Getting close to 7'5, that's collegiate winning level. Head to Kansas State for his collegiate career. That's the sequel Hannah is ready to star in. It's the field. So I want to say once again, shout out to Clevin Hannah on his amazing mark at state track meet. There is so much more I want to get to, but time won't allow. But I want to thank my guest once again, Coach Silsby, up in the Kansas City area, doing a great job molding these young men, giving some shout outs to some my former guests that he's been connected with. I'm pretty sure they will appreciate hearing their names as well too. Coach Murdoch, Coach it'll come back to me. Also mentioning Jackie Welling. I mean, Coach Silsby is a great man. I can tell right now, this is a great man. He's going to be doing some great things on the AAU level, at the high school level. And like I said, I asked him, is there a possibility that coaching the girls' game could be a possibility? So you heard his answer. I'm not going to put no answers in his mouth, but you heard his answer. And it wouldn't be a bad thing if he did go that route. It wouldn't be a bad thing. It would not be a bad thing. But it is time for me to get out of here. Hope you have enjoyed today's show as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Thank you for your prayers in advance as I will be having this pacemaker installed tomorrow. Thankful to my wife for taking the time to get me there, get back home. She's going to be working remotely. My oldest grandson will also be tagging along. He wants to help his pawpaw. I really appreciate that, boy. I love you. I'm going to have to teach you how to do the controls here because I know I'm going to be in a sling for the next 7 days. So it is what it is. But thank you in advance for your prayers. Appreciate them, your well wishes, all the above. I do have a job to go to this evening, but after that, I'll be done on the work side for a few days. Remember, this is streaming on YouTube, Twitch.tv, also on my Facebook channel, my Facebook page as well too. Comments are welcomed. Leave all the comments you want to. Once again, we had some more technical difficulties with the recording. Don't know if I'm not getting the audio from my guest in my ear. I'm about to contact Riverside.fm and let them know, hey, got something going on. Second time this didn't happen with my last two guests, but we made it work. We made it work. That's the main thing. So applause to my guest. On that note, I am out of here. You guys have a blessed day.
Powered by Riverside FM.